You know, Jim, there are a lot of people who come through the doors of the Center for Plant-Based Living who have this kind of like this white look on their face because they have just been diagnosed with cancer. And it's heartbreaking because I can remember the day that I was diagnosed with cancer. And in fact, I lost my dad to cancer, and just 10 weeks after he passed away, that's when I was diagnosed. So really it was that 1-2 punch I needed to do a deep dive and do what research I could to figure out how I could help myself and hopefully not get it again. And that's where I learned that nutrition plays actually a pretty big role in the state of our health, including, you know, when we're talking about really scary things like cancer.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Caryn. And you know, you and your dad aren't alone. Close to 2 million people in the United States were diagnosed with cancer last year. And we know that food plays a very important role in increasing your risk for cancer, but more importantly, lowering your risk for cancer.
Okay, so that's, I mean, I have read that, and I think that a lot of people put those two things together, but we really don't know exactly which foods help fight cancer and why, right?
Right.
So,
well, I think more importantly, you know, there's two sides to this, right?
Yeah.
It's not only the foods that prevent cancer, which we're going to talk about in a minute, but what about the foods that increase your risk for cancer, right? So it's things like processed meat, red meat, very high. So it's inflammation is really at the core of a lot of this, and the heme iron and the nitrates and the cured meats and the red meat markedly increase your risk for cancer. We know that dairy products, so dairy is a biologic fluid that evolved to facilitate baby mammals turn into big mammals.
so you're talking ice cream,
Right,
cheese,
exactly.
yogurt.
And one of the ways to stimulate that growth, to take a 70-pound cow, for example, and turn it into a 1,700-pound cow, is through a compound called insulin growth factor 1, or IGF-1. And so insulin growth factor 1, unfortunately, can't tell the difference between the healthy cells that we need to grow and get big and strong and the cancer cells that we all generate on occasion. And so dairy's been associated with increased risk for cancer. We know that fried foods increase risk for cancer. And it has to do with some chemicals like acrylamides, which are called acrylamides, which accumulate or formed at those high temperatures when we cook food in oil. We know that grilling food or roasting meat forms other kinds of carcinogens. Carcinogens are compounds that increase risk for our cancer. We know that sugar, highly sugared foods, sweetened beverages increase your risk for cancer. Again, when we eat those sweetened foods, it spikes our insulin levels. And remember, insulin is a growth factor, right? And so again, when we don't want, what we don't want to do is stimulate cancer cells to grow, and that's exactly what happens.
Yeah, no kidding. And that seems like kind of a long list of foods that increase the risk for cancer. So what can we eat? What can we all eat to hopefully lessen, number one, even getting cancer for the first time, right? Or if you've had it before, and as I have, I really want no business with cancer again. So what can we eat to lessen that occurrence?
No, exactly. You know, the sad part is, by the way, those foods I just listed make up the vast majority of calories in the standard Western diet.
Oh,
right.
Right.
If you think about it,
yeah.
right? And so to that point, it's really about eating the rainbow. Remember I said that inflammation is at the core. And so when we eat foods that are anti-inflammatory, that's what lowers our risk. And in general, the more color foods have, the more anti-inflammatory they are.
So that's what eating the rainbow. We
Exactly.
always hear eating the rainbow.
Right.
Please eat the rainbow.
Exactly. So think about going to McDonald's and you see someone carrying their tray back to the table. What's the primary color you see?
Yellow, brown.
Brown. Well, the yellow is some fake mustard. The red is some ketchup, which is full of high fructose corn syrup.
Yeah.
There might be a little wilty, piece of lettuce there, but it's brown. It's the French fries, the meat, the bun, right? And so again, we're not getting these incredibly beautiful foods, which are what actually cause decreased risk for cancer.
Okay, so let's build a salad that will hopefully, do its best in helping keep us healthy today, right?
Right.
So the rainbow. Now, remember in grade school, at least Roy G. Biv. That's how I remembered the order of the colors of the rainbow.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So let's start.
So what's the R?
The R is, so it's tomatoes, but it's R for Roy, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. So how are tomatoes going to help fight cancer?
Well, so tomatoes have